Hello, everybody. My name's Dana Smith, or Alley Cat, or that bee that doesn't do stand up. You may have heard me of any of those names, but I remember I've been an activist in the trans community for over a decade now. And I remember one of the things early on that someone told me, that when someone gives a scare tactic or scare phrase that gets people set off, that it takes approximately 5 minutes for someone to rationally discuss with that person to get them out of that triggered state of fear that is caused by misinformation or sensational statements. So I'm giving a shot at what I'm going to call is like 5 minutes of truth. And this one, I'm my first one. And I'm going to look at, since we're at the end of Transgender History Week, I'm just going to highlight some of the people that immediately come to my mind as being historical trans people of significance. And this is just the ones that just immediately come to mind for me. I know there are many others, but here we go, just talking about, because some people have said that trans people is a new thing, that's one of the statements and misinformation that's being given out. And that's not true, because there's many years of historical documentation of transgender identities all throughout the world. And there are even some cultures that even recognize third and other multiple genders, that not just male and female. So when someone says there's only two genders, that's not true. And they'll say that the science doesn't back that up. So here I am to look at some of the more historical figures of like the past century, and especially since most of these people have gone some degree of medical transition. The earliest one that most people are aware of is Lily Elbe, who was depicted in the Danish Girl movie with Eddie Redmayne. That the movie depicted as her one of the first trans women to undergo a genital reconstructive surgery to affirm her gender. And the movie is loosely based upon the real life events, but that is documented that Lily Elbe did have gender affirming surgery a century ago in the 1920s. The next person that comes to my mind is Christine Jorgensen, because in the 1950s, she was the first trans woman to have any degree of notoriety for being trans. She had flown to Sweden, had her surgery, and came back. And so the media, she was the first one that the media had sensationalized. Now, other people, and just going through, Virginia Prince in the 1960s, she formed a magazine called Transvestia, which was one of the first magazines that had a continuous run to be supportive of the transgender community. Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera were key figures that were one of the ones that ignited the Stonewall riots. So they're out there. Also, one of the first ones, another one that got media sensationalization in the 1970s was Renee Richardson, because she transitioned and attempted to play professional tennis, but was not allowed to. Wanda Carlos is one of the first people that I found, because she is a music composer and composed the music for Tron and Clockwork Orange among some of her more well-known pieces and scores. Caroline Cossey, she was a fashion model in the late 1990s and was also a background Bond girl in one of the Roger Moore James Bond movies. One of the first trans men to get any degree of notoriety was Chaz Bono when he announced his transition. The one that has been the key figure in a lot, has people say that she triggered the transgender tipping point, is Laverne Cox, who was, most people know her for being in Orange is the New Black. And so there have been trans people around for a long time. Medical transitions have been happening for over a century now. And so it's not a new thing. So trans people have been here, we're going to stay here, and just by you trying to say we don't exist or that we're mentally ill, which is not true, because all of the information backs up our medical transition. And I'm welcome for comments. So I'll put this on a few platforms and I'll try to make these on a regular basis. So thank you.